Hello, Driving Intelligence community. What we got in front of me here is this 2014 Mazda CX5, 120 plus thousand miles, and the plugs have never been changed. So we're going to go ahead and do a plug change, but I'm not just going to focus on how to change the plugs. Two things I want to test are the fuel economy before and after fresh plugs, and also the difficult starting that's being experienced with this vehicle. First thing I mentioned was the difficult start, and what I'm noticing is it's a slow start. It's not a crisp start, almost as if the battery's weak. I'm not sure if the plugs are the cause of this. I have checked the battery, and the battery seems to be good. So we're going to try to start it right now. It's obviously a push button start, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, so there's a little drag, a little delay on that. Not bad. I can say that yesterday when the temperature was close to 60 degrees here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, let me say that again, it didn't start the first time. So I'm wondering if the plugs have anything to do with that. Again, actually we're talking 130,000 miles. Right there, you can see 129,000 miles is what we're dealing with. To make sure we're dealing with apples versus apples, I've got the air conditioning on, and we're going to go on the same area of Highway 95 going north of Fort Lauderdale. And I've got the vehicle set up for instant miles per gallon, and that's what we'll use to see how it runs on a good flat spot at a consistent speed. Now that we've got the baseline fuel economy and the startup performance, I got myself some NGK laser Iridium plugs. I'll link these in the description of the video. And don't forget, while you're down there, make sure you give me that thumbs up. But we're going to start by putting these on. I'm going to pull off that engine cover that gets us to the spark plugs. The engine cover pulls straight up. It just snaps on. No big deal. And here you can see the coil packs that we need to remove. I've got 8mm screws holding them down. We're going to take all 4 of those off. Pull the coils off, and that'll expose the spark plugs. And you don't have to worry about which one they go to, because you can see as they come out of the wiring harness, they're in a pretty specific location for the location on the engine. I have to be honest, I'm pretty impressed with these SkyActiv engines. A lot of times when you have a dual overhead cam, they've got a gasket that goes down to the spark plug well, and you can see that these coils are perfectly clean of oil. So there's no oil dripping down it because it's got a valve cover leak either around the perimeter or at the spark plug well. A 9/16 spark plug socket is what it's going to take to get those plugs out. First plug is removed, and it actually looks pretty good. I'm going to measure the gap to see what we're dealing with here after 129,000 miles. It should be 0.044. 0.044 fits in there pretty good if I get this focused on here. It's loose, not tight. So we're going to take out a new plug, brand new plug, and see how it fits in there. So I think there's a little bit of erosion here, or maybe it wasn't gapped properly, but these plugs look pretty good. New plug gapped out perfectly, and now we're going to go ahead and install it and get the rest done before we move on to the next step. Torque spec is 144 to 168 inch-pounds. Make sure that's inch-pounds and not foot-pounds. I'm setting it to 150, just to be right dead center. And now they're all torqued down. Incidentally, you can rent a torque wrench from AutoZone. I got this rental because I'm out of town, and I don't even know. They charge you the cost of the torque wrench, but you get all your money back once you return it. So if you don't have a torque wrench, you don't need to invest. Go ahead and rent one from one of the auto parts stores. Make sure you have some spark plug protector or grease. It's actually a dielectric. It prevents the spark plug boot from getting stuck on a spark plug. So I'm going to put some of this on the end of the coil. Just as a watch out, if you don't do this, you're going to have a terrible time getting this off, and you'll probably rip and damage the coil. So I make sure to fill up that hole with the dielectric. You're not going to have a problem. It's not going to prevent any kind of electrical continuity, but it's definitely plenty to make sure, again, that it doesn't stick to the spark plug. I'm going to push it all the way down, and then we can put the bulb back in. Okay. Now that everything's buttoned back up and I've got the engine cover back on, let's take her for a test drive. I used the vehicle computer to get an instantaneous fuel economy reading. I did not do a long loop as I normally do with my F-150 when measuring changes in fuel economy after a project change. I performed before and after tests in the exact same location at 70 miles per hour and with the air conditioning running. Before the spark plug change, the instantaneous fuel economy was 33.9 miles per gallon. After the spark plug change, fuel economy was anywhere from 34 to 36.7 miles per gallon, but given this was not an average over a long drive, I wouldn't bet money on these results. What I have concluded is that the NGK Iridium spark plugs are very durable and continue to perform even after 129,000 miles and 11 years of use. The only real benefit I see is a quicker startup. But as I mentally process these results, there is a financial benefit. Iridium spark plugs are very expensive. The four I installed in this Mazda cost about $50 delivered, but here's the thing. On average, copper spark plugs need to be changed about every 20,000 miles. The Iridiums were still delivering good performance at 129,000 miles. Copper plugs would have cost over $100 in replacement costs given the mileage of this vehicle, not including installation. So in my book, Iridium plugs are a deal. Additionally, Mazda recommends plug changes every 75,000 miles, and given the current condition of the plugs, this maintenance cycle can surely be extended. Although not maintenance-free, this setup gets as close to maintenance-free as I have seen. My recommendation, pull your plugs, check and clean the electrodes and gaps, and if the plugs still look good and your vehicle performs well, don't waste money on a plug change. I trust this was a helpful video, so please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching Driving Intelligence.